Welcome back everyone to another training week. You're watching the week of 20th March, which was the first full week after the Doha and Baku World Cups. The main focus for this week was building back up to the all-round, as well as some quast and dismount work. You'll see a big theme now of the week, and the very reason why the training weeks are going to be a bit longer than usual is because I'm spending so much time trying to get back to pommel horse. I'm halfway through the second week now, and my God, let me tell you, it's just bad. It's so bad. And to be honest, this week that I'm in now was worse than the week that you're watching. Somehow, the more I do, the worse it gets. But I do remember building up to Oceania last year. Pommel horse was a big challenge as well. So something I've done is I've structured my week a bit different from the usual. I made a plan on the flight back from the World Cups and decided that I should do more days where I'm doing all 6 apparatus. Get myself used to the all-round, because the tricky thing about Oceania is I know that we're going to be starting on floor. We're starting on floor, we're going to be finishing on P-bars and high bars. So my 2 apparatus, where my routine is actually quite hard, I have to do right at the end when I'm the most tired. So I thought I better get on that now rather than waiting till later. There's only 5 weeks left now before we leave. So I thought I'd put myself through a bit of a hell week or hell weeks earlier on rather than later, just to prepare as much as possible, because the turnaround this time feels a lot faster. I don't remember exactly how many weeks I had from last World Cups before Oceania Champs, but I feel like I had more than 6 full weeks last time. So what I've done is I'm touching all 6 apps on day 1, which is the Monday and the Thursday, minus vault, where I'm just doing some kind of bridges against the wall. I'm literally at the point where I can't do a bridge on the floor anymore, fam. I have to put my feet on an elevated surface, so I have to put my hands on the wall, but I can't do a bridge on the floor. So I thought surely that would help my Yurchenko. So everything but vault on the day 1, and then day 2 eventually doing all 6 routines, but for now just building in as much as I can. You would have seen that basic ring set, so I'm gonna start with doing something a bit more realistic first, and slowly over the weeks put more content into that day 1 and day 2 to build up my all-round program. Oh, but pommel horse, you know, you might as well just skip through pommel horse. Whenever you see me on pommel horse in the next 2 weeks, just fast forward it through. I included, of course, again, most if not all the clips for my own reference, but honestly, most of those things you do not need to see. It'll make you worse at pommel horse if you watch it, I'm telling you. So there you can tell I'm being safe. I'm not doing a Healy from 1 bar. Now the plan on P-bars on day 2 from the very first week was to do a full routine. And that was a bit of a shoot on my part. On Tuesday I came in ready to do the routine, but it's actually routine and 1 of each half. But then reality hit after doing the other 3, and as you can tell, I'm nowhere near fit enough to do an entire routine after 4 apparatus. Even though the 4 apparatus are quite easy. But I will tell you honestly, I don't have, well, pretty much anything difficult on pommel horse. But the amount of energy it takes and the amount of effort and grit to get through those skills, especially the skills on the single handle, it's more difficult than any other apparatus that I'm competing. And now you get a good taste of just the contrast of doing high bar just after P-bar and doing high bar after the whole 6 apparatus or 5 apparatus. I wasn't even thinking about catching. I was just trying to get some reps in, get a good judge for distance, but more so just starting to get reps of the big releases at the end of an all-around day. Now you'll notice that I'm starting my all-around day on day 2s on pommel horse. And this is because the first apparatus in the all-around warm-up is going to be horse. Horse is really hard for me to warm up first because of my shoulder flexibility, of my lack of range of motion. So if I go straight to horse on the first apparatus, it's almost going to be useless. I'm not going to be able to do too much. So again, I want to do as similar of a build-up as possible compared to what I'm going to be doing at Oceania. So I'm going to horse first because that's what's going to be happening in the warm-up, and then returning to floor and going Olympic order from there. Probably next week I'm going to start doing warming up all 6 and then competing all 6 after one touch. But for now I'm going to use the first 2 weeks after returning to just get used to doing all 6 in one day. Ready for an ankle cruncher? Boom, crunch. So on these day 1s, I'm doing some more drilling, like the single pommel circles, and also throwing on a couple of ankle weights. Those are 2 kgs on each ankle, and building up my chest and my lats to give myself just a little bit more juice on that Honma in competition. And I know it's not gonna work immediately. What I noticed straight away is when I come back on the next day, I am actually a little bit sore and a little bit fatigued after doing, I do 2 sets of those ankle weighted swings. Doing chicken dips is one thing, it's quite easy. Even with, I can do it with 10 kgs quite easily. But when you add the swing into the upper arms, it's a whole new dimension. So it's gonna prepare the body for that Honma much more effectively than doing the chicken dips. If you want to learn Honma, that would be the way. When I was young, I just did a whole bunch of front tucks to upper arm. After a few months, I managed to get my first one to a bit arm support, and then many months after that, I remember, until I got the front pike. So I did it quite unintelligently as a kid growing up. But these days, I think if I was to go back in time, that's the way I'd do it. I'd spend a month or so just building up swings and upper arm with the ankle weights, and then incorporate the front flip. I'm keen to keep in touch with Makuts as well as Mars, so those are some of the skills I'm still training on day 1. Mars, I only have about 1 or 2 in me a day right now, and it's really just again for the repetition of the skill. As the weeks go on and my strength increases, my all-around endurance increases, I'm expecting that I'll be able to come close to catching the Mars again. But as it stands, the high bar routine that I'm going to do at Oceania is going to be the same routine that I did at the World Cups. So Cassina, Coleman, couple of catch-ups, and then the rest of it. One thing you'll see me working on in the next weeks is to get my Chinese tap a bit deeper. We've all seen me coming out quite early, pretty much as early as Kachev on the Chinese taps. And I managed to quite quickly get a bit more depth on that tap, and enjoy the benefits. The dismount feels so much easier with a deeper tap. Yeah, that is definitely deeper, and I'm definitely landing closer than I was on the World Cup circuit build-up. Is this a Mars straight away? Yep. Boom. Again, just for the repetition. So without vault, that would have been 5th apparatus. So you can tell everything's a bit choppy. And that's the reality of getting used to doing high bar last. But it'll come. I know it'll come. I'm gonna be patient, and I'm expecting maybe in the 4th or 5th week really for things to feel a bit more normal and doable. I'm quite happy that I've been able to maintain my strength work. Who knows, maybe that invert will go in by the end of the season. We have nationals in July, and you know, possibly by then, just for a little bit of fun, I could bust out a invert cross in my rings routine. Now, if you want to see me break my ribs, stick around. Oh, there it is. I felt that the next day. That was painful to say the least. And on that same turn, I did my finger. I put my hand funny on the one handle. And fam, do you remember the Christchurch, the CSG Invitational from last year, where I broke my finger and had to pull out of the competition? It was that same bloody finger that I messed up again on that one handle, and it hurt for a couple days, and it still hurts a bit now. Not so much that I can't do it, but you'll see me really holding back now on that travel up, because I felt that, oh my god, I've hurt my hand again. Probably doing my best in these moments not to throw a rage, not to hit the pommel. You know I wanted to hit the pommel so hard there, but I didn't. Yeah. One part of me thinks it's maybe just do less, but another part of me thinks if I can't do it now, how am I gonna do it at Oceania in 6 weeks time? You know, it's not gonna, I can't just rely on a miracle. I have to get as many reps under my belt, and before I can actually get the reps of the skills, I have to do more pommel horse. Even if it's bad, I just have to force my body to do it. Body is saying no, please, no, leave me alone on many different levels. But we all know as gymnasts, sometimes you gotta push through. Good thing about pommel horse is that it's not dangerous, so you can take more turns. Even though I almost just broke my ribs and broke my fingers, but it shouldn't be dangerous. Now, when you saw me doing those individual tumbles, that was just the tumbles by itself. I wasn't doing a routine. I was resting in between those tumbles, and I didn't bother to include it, but I was doing a layout routine after doing one of each pass. That's been the plan for the first 2 weeks on day 2. One of each pass onto the resi, and then a layout routine on the floor. This week, or just yesterday, I did one of each tumble on the actual floor with a 10 centimeter mat. I was quite pleased with how that double went. I didn't think it would be so easy. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do it at Oceanias. And because my rings routine is gonna be quite short, I still haven't decided what routine I'm gonna do. I'm definitely gonna leave out any strength holds, because I can just count a kip to Alset for swing to strength, a press to handstand for strength, and my strategy is probably going to be to do a simple clean routine, but throw the bigger dismount. Not only is double the bigger dismount compared to double back layup full, but there's less deductions, because on double layup full it's very easy to get a pike down deduction. On double tuck double, you're tucked the whole time, so it's impossible to get a pike down deduction. However, you can still get a chest down deduction, so I'm still gonna have to stand it up nice and high. But I was exhausted here. I remember I was so exhausted. I was just trying to get through the plan that I wrote, or as close as I could to it, because the plan on a Friday was one routine and one of each half, and there was just no way that that was going to happen. So I had to think what would be safest, break it up into skills, and then go to high bar. 0.3 for the chest right there. Gotta learn to get that chest up. That was really good depth. I wouldn't change a thing about that depth on the last dismount. Doing casinas when you're tired is not fun. So it looks like I had 3 reps, and that's good to see, because yesterday I did 4 reps, and yesterday I was actually going for the catch. I didn't catch any casinas or Coleman's for that matter. Yesterday was just, oh, it was difficult. It was difficult. I was emotionally, physically, mentally just beat. I was so beat yesterday. I didn't catch anything, but I did do one more casino than I did this day. And I had a much better P-bar session yesterday than I had this day. So I'm building. Look how this was just straight dangerous. Like, that is just, why did I even do it? I don't know. But thanks for sticking with us. Hope you enjoy me suffer for the next few weeks, because let me tell you fam, it's going to be straight suffering. Till next time.